Good morning. Today is the second day of Adar and the 23rd of February.
My birthday, tell them.
It's your birthday?
Yes.
How come I don't know?
You do know.
Where's the whiskey?
You don't know. Was it for bringing it this afternoon? Do you mean to come out?
There better be, because I'm coming.
Sonnenfeld's organizing it, whether he's bringing whiskey.
Oh, okay, so I'll bring the whiskey.
You can't bring whiskey.
And we are continuing with our mimer about Amalek, page Pei Gimel, 83. And we are 8 lines down from the top. אך בהיעדר העבודה שאינו מעמיק דעתו בחוזק בקשר אמיץ קבועים בדמיון בעלמא, וממילא אין לדת המידות כדווי כי אם בבחינת חיצוניות. This was actually the Tanya a couple of weeks ago, that when a person does not have da'at means he's not conscious, he's not aware. He's not mitkasher to the thing. Yesterday we talked in the morning class. It's not our morning, it's our afternoon. For Los Angeles, it's the morning class. In the morning class we talked about the krashim, the Baal Shem Tov, the planks that made up the tabernacle. The Baal Shem Tov says that the keresh is kesher. That the upright person has to have kesher, he has to have a connection to everything that he does. What he means is that he has to have da'at. דעת הוא לשון התקשרות, וידע האדם את חווה אשתו. Because if you don't have a strong connection, what you give birth to inside your psychology is demyonis. It's better than what he says in the Tanya. It says it's mamish, not just demyonis. It's actually negative things even. But demyonis means imaginary things. Imaginary, you feel imaginary feelings. They're phantom feelings. They're not the real thing. To have a real feeling, to have something that the person can truly stand and say, this is my character, this is what my mind tells me I should be like, you have to have a connection to what you're thinking about. And you know that modern technology, a lot of it, makes the common person maybe a little bit more knowledgeable, hopefully a lot, but usually just a little, and very unconnected to what he thinks, and very not able to concentrate on what he's learning. No, it's not true. I think television. Well, it could be that television started it. Destroyed. Right, it began to destroy reading, and again from the common people, which is a shame, because there's many more people that could concentrate on what they're doing and build their character. In any case, so you only get external or phantom feelings, phantom character. And what happens as a result is that the inner light of the divine soul weakens all the time, until eventually he has no chayus, he has no life in anything that he does. And we're talking about anything that he does spiritually. And then, but it also carries over, how do people say, if you want to say I'm serious about something, and say I'm passionate about it. What do you mean you're passionate about it?
That's not serious.
Yes. When you're passionate about something, it means that you do the job in a serious way you can be counted on. You're passionate about this. It's not just that you collect stamps and you're passionate about collecting stamps. It's I do the job passionately. You don't have to look over my shoulder to see whether I'm doing it right or not. A person who has passion, that's what he means here, chayut pnimi, that he has inner life in what he does. And because when the divine soul weakens, so the animal soul becomes stronger. He becomes coarser and more grub, as they say in Yiddish, more gross, in the sense that he becomes a thicker shell and unable to feel, and the animal soul becomes stronger. Where do you see it? That he has no control over his cravings. And he's not talking here about that he goes and does something that's forbidden. He sees food and he says he can't hold himself back. He has no ability to control himself. That is the first sign, or one of the main signs, that the divine soul is weak and that the animal soul is strong. If people would know this,
What are you talking about? Kosher food?
Yeah, kosher, completely kosher. But that's
No. So why shouldn't he eat something?
because he can't control himself. If he goes to a wedding and they serve all this delicious food and he doesn't eat, he's on a diet, and he doesn't eat because he gets fat, he can't hold back. He says, "Oh, just this one time, I'll yeah." And it's every night. Every night it's okay. Just now. There's no control. That lack of control means that his character is not passionate. He's not serious about what he does. He doesn't have any control over himself. Okay? So that's what comes from not having concentration when you learn and when you daven. ועל-ידי זה גורם שיחפוץ עוד,
With learning and davening.
because that's when you build the concentration. That's what he's saying. That when you, especially when you daven, if you can't pay attention to the words, if you can't concentrate, the Rebbe was very big on davening out of a siddur. And he explained it many times. He said that this helps concentration. He didn't say concentration. He used the Hebrew word. The Hebrew word is kavana. It doesn't mean kavanot like the Arizal. He's not saying, it's not even perusha milot. It's not even necessarily what do the words mean. That comes if you know. He says, first of all, concentrate on what you're saying and not let your mind wander off into every single thing under the sun. He says that itself is already a higher level of connection to davening. And when you have that higher level, it builds the character that comes out of it. Again, when you do things in a serious way, it builds your character based on what you're doing. And if you do things without passion, without being serious, so it's phantom. It's a phantom character. You assume it when you do something, and it's gone when you finish. There's nothing there. It doesn't build you really. And the moment that he allows his animal soul to come and eat as much as it wants, let's say, that was the example, or whatever, to indulge in whatever it wants to indulge. So the next stage he says, so today the animal soul said, come and eat something that's mutter, that's kosher, and tomorrow come and eat something that's already not so kosher, and so on. Until eventually it can cause him to do an avera. This is a very interesting thing. This is all caused, he says, from the fact that when you worked, you had no concentration. That's called working for real, and yagiat nefesh, and you didn't sweat. When you work, you have to work. And so, what does it mean you work? When you daven, you have to daven. Like, how did they used to say about the Tzemach Tzedek? That when he finished davening on Shabbos, they would see drops of sweat from his shtreimel, from the top of his shtreimel. Because it wasn't just hot. He worked. It was the middle of the winter. He worked. When you're serious, it takes energy. וכל זה מפני היעדר העבודה בגלל. אך מכל מקום, לפעמים כשמאיר בנפשו בחינת גילויו ונזכר לסיעותיו ואיך שהם נגד רצון הבורא והוא שנוי להשם בתכלית השנאה. And yet, we're talking here only about the negative character traits, the regular character traits. He said these are the 7 Canaanite nations. Still, in this situation, once in a while, he's enlightened by the light of his divine soul, and he's reminded that everything that he's doing is not what Hashem wants. Meaning everything. What he's doing is not Hashem's liking. Why? Because you're wasting your life. You're living a shadow life of what you could. And he is despised by Hashem, even if he comes to an Avera. So Hashem despises the person who comes to an Avera. Of course, Hashem still loves him, right? That's the thing that people can't get through, their understanding. That by a person, I can't both love you and hate you at the same time. But Hashem both loves and hates the person. He loves him for the fact that he's a Jew. He loves him for the fact that he carries his divine soul. He loves him for the good things that he does. And he hates him for the averas that he does, for the negative things that he does. Betachlit hasina, not just stam. He created the world for the exact opposite of this. Why are you falling? Why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? And through those averas, here it's not clear whether he's saying only if he does an avera or if he doesn't do an avera. In any case, he's not connected to Hashem. It could be that he's not connected in many of the things that he does. It could be he's connected in anything. It could be that he's not connected in one thing. Whatever it is, in that place I'm not connected. And he can do tshuva. He can have merirus, which means that he has bitterness. The bitterness, of course, means that I'm not a victim of anything. Bitterness, people are bitter when they're victimized. That's the way that it's used in the modern language. Bitterness does not mean being victimized. Bitterness means that I am the master of my own ship, and I can steer it in a different direction. And I'm bitter, meaning bitterness, the way it's understood in Chasidut, is that I'm kashering the blood inside me that is boiling. That's like the description. I'm taking that blood out. You use it. You do that with salt. We talked about this when we learned in Vayikra, Brit Melach, the whole thing about the first mimer that they usually learn in Tomchei Tmimim, that the bitterness is really the bitter is the taste of the salt that you use to kosher flesh. And what does the salt do? It takes out blood. It pulls out the blood. So in the person, bitterness, in the psychological sense, pulls out the bad blood. It pulls out the retichat damim, as it's called, the feeling that I have when I'm following my Yetzer Hara. And he does tshuva. וכל זה בקליפות שערי האומות שהם נגד בחינת המידות הקדושה שמתגברים ומסתירים ולזאת שמאיר בחינת המוחים ממילא הם נדחיים. This is what's happening here. This is all when we're talking about the regular 7 Canaanite nations, i.e. the 7 character traits of the animal soul. What they do is they only conceal the 7 holy character traits of the divine soul. And the moment that the mind awakens again, what's the mind? The mind here is the mind of the divine soul affecting the intellect. And he remembers that this is not the way that I should go. In one moment he can change everything. He can. וזהו מה שכתוב, גבי יעקב וידו חסד בעקב עשיו. יעקב הוא בחינת יוד עקב, והיוד שהוא בחינת חוכמה, נמשך עד העקביים. היינו גם במדרגות היותר תחתונות, גם שם יהיה בחינת החוכמה, כדי שלא יהיה ממשלה ושליטה לבחינת עשיו, והן המידות רעות לשלוט בבחינת המידות דקדושה. It says that's what the Torah means. That's how we interpret the verse. Veyado, and his hand, Jacob's hand, was holding on to the ankle of Esav. What does that mean? Jacob represents the Chokhmah, the Yud, which comes all the way down to the Akev, all the way down to the ankle. So he can hold on to the ankle of Esav, means that he can hold on to the negative character traits of the animal soul. Esav is the animal soul. Yaakov is the divine soul. That's how they're interpreted. So the divine soul, the moment it has a bit of chokhmah, the yud is chokhmah, is wisdom. The moment that it has a bit of wisdom and an awakening, the divine soul is awakened, it can reach all the way down and change everything. And that's all true by the regular character traits of the animal soul. And we read this. שלא יהיה לו ממשלה, אדרבה, הרי הוא מכניעה גם המידות לנפש הבהמית, יתהפכו לאלוקות, וזהו וירא כי לא יכול לו, והיינו מפני אור וחוכמה וכו'. ולזאת אם באמת ייגע האדם בתפילה כשעה ושעתיים בריחות התבוננות, עד שיוקלט אצלו במוחו ובהעמקת הדעת, עד שירגיל את עצמו להתבונן היטב בגדולת אור אינסוף, ויגיע לבבו, כמו שהתבאר לקמן בעניין הדעת, וממילא ייוולד על ידי זה אהבה ויראה אמיתיות, ויתוקן בכמה דברים. It says, so you always have an opportunity to change and fix the character traits of the animal soul. It's always possible. And you have to work. And he says it takes an hour or two of davening. If you daven for less than an hour, it doesn't happen. And we don't mean here that we wait because we don't have a minyan. We mean that the person actually spends the time for Psukei de Zimra and Birchos Kriyas Shema and Kriyas Shema and Amida. And that takes him an hour. That chunk takes him an hour or 2, he says. So it's somewhere in between. And he concentrates the whole time. What am I doing? He has to have. You have to build passion. People say, I don't have passion. What do you mean you don't have passion? You don't get it. You don't buy it in the. You don't buy it in the supermarket. You create it. You have to create the passion. And people are like, they give up. I don't feel like Torah and mitzvahs does anything for me. What did you invest in it? I went to school when I was 15. What do you say? Come on. Is that how you're going to treat anything in your life? I went to school when I was 15. And in school, somebody stood up and taught me Gemara, and I had to listen, and it wasn't interesting to me, and that's it. That's what I know. Where did you put the work in? Where did you put the sweat, the blood and sweat in? Where is it? If you do it, you're guaranteed that it'll work. And if it doesn't, then let's talk. But the people say, I don't feel anything with the Yiddish guy. I don't feel. What are you talking about? What did you do for it? You don't feel anything in this life. You can reach a certain age, you realize the only things that come naturally are the cravings of the animal soul. That's the only thing that comes naturally. Everything else you have to work for. Falling down is the only. Gravity is free. That's the only thing that's free. Even the air is not free anymore. You have to pay for it. What do you pay for it? You have to work. You have to breathe. So we'll continue tomorrow, God willing. It's open, I think.
Amen.